Welcome to our today's episode on your favorite show, Chungu cha Jamii, with me, Kate Waliaro. Now, as usual here on your favorite show, Chungu cha Jamii, we always have this content that is giving you, that is giving you all the information that you need to push you to the next level, to prepare you for life, you know. And today we have a beautiful topic because we are preparing towards life here. We are talking about preparing our learners for the junior secondary school. Yeah, that is a CBC. And this is the best time to prepare because come next year we'll be, we'll be running all over. After Christmas, and people will just be, just like that. So we need to prepare early enough. We need to be on the know and make sure you're joining this conversation so that together we build this nation because, CBC is very new. And I know a lot of people are not, they do not have the information that they need. So we need to join hands and move forward together because, hey, this has never happened. We have a junior secondary school for the first time here in Kenya. So I have some woman, a powerful woman. She's been here before teaching us on parenting. And because we don't really know exactly what the government is preparing, we know snippets, but we need to prepare as parents, as guardians, we need to prepare for CBC because the junior secondary school is here with us. So I'm going to introduce to you my guest today so that she can, tell us all the things we need to know today. You're most welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Kate, for having me again. Viewer, my name is Catherine Karina. My passion in life is to make our children know before they wish they knew. And when I hear about CBC, it's very exciting, by the way, because it is curriculum that is competence-based.
Yeah.
However, we also have a challenge there. And in life, everything has a challenge. Even growth comes as a challenge.
Yeah.
So as Kate has said, we must prepare. And I want to add another mini piece there that we must prepare and also plan. As we pray and play our part.
Okay.
Prepare, plan, pray, play our part. So that at the end of the day, as Kate is saying after Christmas, we are not seated there running helter-skelter, wondering what will happen. They say that for an armed person is always very good than hitting the bush to run. So viewers, sit there. I'm sure we are going to go to a journey through.
Yes. Join in our conversation on our SMS line 21144 and in all our social media handles at GBS TV Africa so that together we move forward because this thing, we have to hit it because CBC is very new and for a lot of parents it's very confusing. It's and the pioneering class, the one now that is in grade 6, next year they get to join high school, that is a junior secondary school. They are pioneering the class and we really don't know what we are stepping into, but we know we're stepping into it.
I will still step there, and as human beings, we'll always have fear of unknown.
Sure.
But it's also to understand that you are dealing with children, these are live, and the person that is in grade 6 today is 12, we could have some that are 11, so next year they are going to be 13. We need to understand who is they have not hit adolescence or they are hitting adolescence now. And as we take them to junior high, challenge there. Do we have enough day schools to accommodate our children? And also we need to understand these are only 13-year-old children that are facing a crisis of identity. So we need to because parents are going to be more with their children and as the children come home every evening, we need to start now talking to them about the next level. And next level in life always demands a different version of yourself. So we must be able to tell them that even their thinking will change, how they do their things will change. Then also we should not live in denial or hide our heads in the sand. Kate, we know how our schools are. I'm on record having called them dens of immorality because it is in these schools. Like we find a lot of homosexuality there. We have a lot of drugs there, a lot of cultism there, and we have a 13-year-old child that we have not prepared to go to the next level.
Yeah.
So parents, as they call it CBC, we also have to come out to be very in there with our children. We have to spell the evils that are in our schools as we try to bring them out of it. And why am I talking about preparing these children? Because they are going to come to a time they are going to be separated from us, and education is our life. They have to go to school.
And Catherine, let me put this to perspective for our viewer. How it's going to be rolled out. The government has pointed out some CBC centers within some primary schools, current primary schools, and some secondary schools. So CBC, the junior secondary school, will be either in primary schools or in some secondary schools. So for the ones who I think will be in the primary schools could be safe, because they'll be continuing in the that status quo of being children and interacting with children and getting to grow at their pace. But the ones who get to go to secondary schools, my heart is there, because they get to mix with children who are older. They've experienced life at a higher level, and let's talk of their immorality is on a higher level, and even their senses are on a higher level. So mixing with these children who are, like you said, they're in the place where they are in identity crisis. They really don't know themselves. They're trying to find themselves, and they are trying to figure out life. My heart is there on these children who will be interacting with older children.
I feel your heart as a parent. I'm actually a guardian for one that is in grade 6. But we also need to appreciate that, yes, we have some centers that have been vetted out. The vet is not the right word. That have been said they can have their junior school in primary school. But again, it's not in every primary school.
Sure.
So if it could be possible that the transition happens within the primary school, that would be safer for us. Like where we are seated, we have some centers that are already approved for CBC, but some are not reachable. I said I'm a guardian, so I've been knocking on finding out how is the fee structure here. And somebody says, our school, we are private school, because private school have gone ahead and have laid down very good classes and laboratories, those day schools near us. But again, we cannot be able to reach there because of the finances. And Kate, let us understand this, that we don't want any child to need to go to school.
Sure. Because
when children need to go to school, we grow poverty and we grow crime.
Sure.
So I know our president said that they are going to review the system, and there are already people that are doing it, and they will give a feedback by December. But again, we cannot sit and wait for it to happen in December. We have to take these children and literally work with them.
Sure.
Viewer, let me help you understand how children learn. If we can look at a grade 6 child, we said now they are 12. We see they still want to have time and play. And play is a full-time job for children. That one is a full-time job.
I like that.
However, it can become full, FOOL.
For a stupid person.
Yes. So we have to know how to develop these children. And human beings, we learn more by experience. So as Kate has said, as they transit into junior secondary schools, where they have other learners that are things, we parents, we have to prepare our children. We know that experience is the best teacher. But again, it is not in everything. So that when the children are going there, they are going to school, and going to secondary school, junior school. So you must be able to tell them how to harmonize the excitement. I normally call them the 4 E's, where I say they're excited, they want to experiment, they want to explore, and they get exploited. But now here we are bringing the 5th E of experience. So that we'll have talked to them earlier and told them in the eventuality you go to the main schools as a junior student, what do you need to do? And without beating the bush, Kate, allow me to tell the parent one weapon that we need to use on our children. I normally call it the underwear rule.
The underwear rule.
Yes.
Ni mzito, hebu nisikie.
So that now, these children will know I have an underwear, and anything that is called ada should not be touched by anybody.
Okay.
Behind the underwear, we normally have what I call private manenos, because again, we know the level of homosexuality in our schools, we cannot downplay it.
Okay.
As we try to root out the evils, can we ground these children so well in the word, so that as they go into school, they are not going just to be excited and find new friends. As they find the new friends, they must make sure that they're not blinded by the smile of the friends and the excitement of the school, so that we don't have our children getting damaged. We are parenting in very challenging times, and I see you want to come on, where we have now children committing suicide. So you have to prepare these children holistically, so that they can know, even when they are so crushed and pushed to the wall, suicide is not an option. Yes.
Catherine, before we go to that extent where now the child is now being exposed to all this immorality within the schools and is being exposed to even the suicide and all that, you talked of the transition that has to happen from being a primary school kid to a secondary school kid. There's this transition that I have for the CBC. Even then they can see that CBC has a lot of what can I say, siasa, politics, and and they can listen to the the stations around. There's a lot of politicking going around CBC, so they are very unsure of what they are stepping into. I'm looking at this young child before they're even exposed to all that immorality. This being so delicate, they cannot absorb too much of this emotional torture. Even though this corona time period they have received a lot of stress, they have been doing back to back. We finish this and the next time starts the next 1
week.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stress. But then here there is another major one. I'm moving from primary school, and I know that our predecessors, we used to go up to class 8. But me as a child here in class 6, naambiwa naenda form 1, aje, naenda secondary school. Talk to this child or talk to the parents so that they are able to give them a transition period, or in a way their psychological well-being is not affected before they even get to those murky issues that you want to talk
that
about.
level.
Yeah.
You have used a very good word there, to manage. So we have to, one thing, make the children understand who they are. Children are our future, and we are their hope for the future. And we must tell the children that they might not go to a day school. We have to prepare them for the worst, so that if it comes, they will be able to manage. Because if they don't manage, they will damage themselves. So the first key that we do is to help them understand the way to fit in. Where you fit in but you don't belong. Where if they have to go to school A, which is a high secondary school, they have to go there knowing I have a path of success, I am walking that path. Then for we parents, and that's why we started with prayer. Remember I said prayer. We have to pray to success in those schools. We have to tell these children they were not born to fit in, they are born to be outstanding. And we have to say it and say it well. And parents, what you have to do at this level of transition, because I said again they are hitting adolescents. And the adolescents feel that parents are fools. And we parents know that the ones that are fools. So that we can be able to hammer and harmonize, so that we don't lose anything, and we build up a working relationship and a working rapport. I have kept telling parents that we need to have parents seeing beyond, and we see the details, so that we can be able to walk this child. When you go into junior high school, what will happen? They're coming from a day school. we have now to train them how to identify their belongings. Okay? And then we also have to tell them how to cope with a stressor, because they are coming from a home where they shower with hot water. They are going to a school where capacity is 1,700 children, and not forgetting Kate, we have a double intake next year. So that we can be able to tell them how to manage it, and when they are not able to talk out, what else can they do? Because as a 10-year-old child, when you're not able to voice their concern, they'll cry. But again, as they cry, they'll be mocked. And be able to grow them these last 3 months of the year, as they do their schoolwork, we must have a moment I normally call me and my child. So that we can tell them, tell me what you think about your future. Tell me what you think when you go into boarding school, what will happen. But however, we still know that the I'm sure today if the government wanted to make every primary compliant for CBC next class, they will have it. So all is not lost, there's a lot of hope. Yes.
I'm thinking of this child who is used to everything is done to them. They didn't see CBC coming in this way. So how should a parent now prepare in the event their child will be sent to another county for CBC?
To another county for CBC, we for the junior school, we have a challenge there. But again, remember, we also have parents that have taken their children to boarding school as early as class 4. So what you need to do is manage your child very well. These 3 months, we call them transition. Don't wait until January. Start now telling her, if you went to school in Kisumu, what will happen? But I remember outgoing CS Magoha said that you'd want them to stay in a school that is closer home. So we have now, even as we select, because we selected schools for grade 6, for grade 7, even as we selected those schools, can we make sure that we have a working relationship with the school? And you know, we are going into school where now we can have a class teacher and the child, they call you and you communicate. We take a walk together. Well, I normally say that we have now to connect with the children, but now, we have also to connect with the class teacher of this child. Yes, they are coming from where we have been doing things for them. We have now to learn how to release. Kidogo tu. Now we are in October. Can we release kidogo this October? By November we have this kidogo. By December they are trying to figure out their way, and you're also telling them in a soft way that in January you could be in a boarding school away from home.
So this is where we train them to be responsible. They learn to do things on their own. They learn to stand as, you know, complete beings, sometimes without their parents.
They train and they teach. We train them as we teach them. And when you look at the word train, my head comes as literally as a train, either Kenya Railways. The train follows the head of it is going, and these ones are following through. So parents, you have to work together with these children. Yes.
Wow, thank you very much, Catherine. I love listening to you because I'm comforted being a mother who is a mother to a CBC student. So, my dear viewer, I know you're learning a lot from Catherine. She's telling us on how we can be in a position to address the many issues that will be coming along as we prepare for this junior secondary school class. So, make sure you're also sharing what you have. I know you have a lot, so that together we move this thing forward. We want to be in a better place January next year. So I wish we take a short break on this note, and make sure you don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more.
everywhere. GBS.
Welcome back, my dear viewer. We continue with our topic on preparing learners on joining junior secondary school. Sorry for that. Morning on how we are going to help our children transition. Catherine has told us we need to teach and we need to train. Yeah, am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that these children can be in a position to be responsible over themselves, so that when they go to this junior secondary school, young as they are, they'll be in a position to take care of their, their belongings, be able to do their personal grooming in a better way, if not even the best way they can do, so that as they move forward, they will not be emotionally, stressed, because the emotional stress will be the major one on this case, because you can see how there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of anxiety by the fact that this is the first time this is happening. They are the pioneers, so you can imagine how anxious they are, how fearful they are, and how expectant also they are, because there's definitely, being the pioneers, there's this good feeling about it, but there's also a lot of fear that comes with it. So I'm really thankful that Catherine, you're here, because I know a lot of parents are seated there and they want to also understand now on the emotional well-being of these children, owing to the fact that even the parent themselves, I'm one of them, and you can see, hey, I really don't know where we are headed. So I really need support, but I also need to be in a position to support this child who is going to be the pioneer for the
we must now teach them to fly, to go to the next level.
Yeah.
And I say the next level will always demand something different from you and also from the learner.
Okay.
This time, as our children are going into the next level, it's not going to be more of correction, it's going to be more of connecting. Remember, there's some 4 C's that I normally talk about. To just connect more than correct, because they are also fearful. But as we sit here, we know this is not the first time to have a change in systems.
Yeah.
I did not do 844, but there was 844, and I'm sure also been about what may happen, but finally we made through. All what you're seeing now is that the figures are more in high school, because you also now have the 100% transition to the next level. So 100% of class 8 to the next level, 100% of grade 6 to the next level. Now to look at the schools and the facilities that are there. We have had the CS of education say about the class. But again, we know that it's 24 hours. So as we talk about the class, we have enough dormitories for them? I don't know. And I keep imagining, if I was an implementer of junior school, I would have a smaller school within the school, so that we can take care of these ones as they don't mingle with the other one, so that they are not tortured. Our time scale, we used to be more. I don't know that it still happens or it doesn't happen, but I'm sure it is dying anyway. So parents, what I want to encourage you together with myself, remember I said I'm a guardian, it's like we know, it's like we are walking through the woods, the forest, and we have a torch. This torch will not be able to show us the end of the journey, but it's going to lead for us the next step we are going to put our foot on, ensuring our safety. So transition requires that, that we take a step together with our children for safety, because they have to go to school. And then parents, let us not be very confused, because you also know now the figures of the girls that are getting pregnant have increased. Well, we were told that 700 girls in a day are getting pregnant, so that parents, we don't get confused and we think that one of the preparation that we need to do for our children is prevent them from getting pregnant. What we need to do is do the open talk. I know call hot, where we have to be very honest with our children. And that is why I talked about the underwear rule, where we have to be very honest with them, where we have to be very open with them, and where we have to be very truthful with them. Because again, we know now the figures of HIV and AIDS are also on the increase, where we know 98 children, and I'm sure now there are more, are testing positive for HIV and AIDS every week.
Children.
Children, yeah. 98.
Those ones who
so that we now be able to tell them point blank. And you know, these children are so clever than us. It is last week where we heard of a contraceptive called Sophia, this one from China, that was banned in Kenya. Unfortunately, girls are still going for them. So that even as they go to the next level, they understand they are going to the next level academically. They are not, it is not marriage, because this girl has come from a day school. She go, okay, both boys, girls, then they go to school with that. I normally tell them they are not going into a couples meeting, so that the children can know and understand themselves, so that they will be outstanding. And parent, you are the best teacher. You have to talk and to talk forthright. I have said the next level will demand something extra from us. Can we be willing to go that extra mile? Because it is anybody that goes an extra mile that becomes extraordinary.
We are living in some very confusing times, you know. I'm shocked to hear the statistics. I wasn't up to date, but thanks to you.
I'm as a teens youth mentor, that is what I do every day. And even before we came in, I hear of a case where a minor has been defiled by the uncle. So we also need to know that defilement is on the increase. We cannot live not knowing. We have to create awareness. So that's, sorry to cut you short, we have to create awareness so that we can be able to, as we prepare, we also preventing damages.
Sure.
Yeah, they normally say prevention is better than cure, so that we can prevent. So that, Kate, we shall not regret as we repair. And we are talking about human beings. Yes, there are some scars that we may not be able to repair. Yes.
You said that this is this period of transitioning from a season of first of all moving to the junior secondary school. There's nothing much to correct there is a lot to connect socially so that who they are, and if they adopt some behaviors, because most of them are adopted and are from social media. They learn a lot of things they shouldn't be learning about. But then before the of the connection in the side of education.
Okay.
I know socially we have a lot to talk about, and we'll be talking about for the next phase until we are done with the show, because that is huge. Thinking of that doing some pilot, checking the curriculums, or rather the facilities available for the CBC class, rather the CBC stations.
Yes.
What would you advise the parents to do regarding now, like what you're doing for your child that you guard, you're a guardian too? What advise them so that they know, besides all these other things we'll do, but parents really don't understand. Yes, I have chosen the CBC class for school, but how do I ensure that my child, when they go there, or rather how do I connect with even that same facility? How do I connect with the teachers there? How do I connect with my child so that finally we'll be a full circle?
The first thing that you need to do is that when that time comes in January, and our children are selected to whatever school, if they are going to that school, do not belittle that school. If you honestly know that my child will not go to school C, will go to school C, do not talk ill about the school C. We have to own the school. When you own the school, then we now start telling the child that all schools are the same, and they can make that their best school. But again, as they go into a new environment, they are going to make friends. And adolescents, let me start it a little bit late earlier, Catherine. A 2-year-old child up to 7. You're seeing too much of me. As you're coming to an adolescence, they're saying, Mommy, you are an embarrassment to me. And that is why I said we have to connect. So that now we are so much, let me say, covering the back of your child, but you are literally protecting the back of it. That's why we are connecting so much. We are brought them so close. So that as they go now into this school, parents, you have owned the school. But again, also, let us not be too excited and take them to extra work with what we have. Remember, we have said we want to prepare so that we prevent, so that we shall not regret as we repair. And then also help the children understand, yes, you're the guinea pigs, but other people have walked through. There have always been somebody who was the first one. And so one of the Bible has said, it's nothing on us. We don't know where we are, but we have a torch. Remember the torch I said? Inatumikia hapa tunakanyanga for safety. So the child will understand that safety is number one. Even as I go now for my academics, so that even if I excel and there's no safety, then I'm vulnerable.
I'm thinking of the parent in that light now. Safety for my child.
Yes.
Don't forget that we are social beings. So wherever I will take my child for the CBC class, for the CBC station, I want them to be safe. Okay. Will you advise the parents checking even the behavior, or rather, you want to do a due diligence of where my child is going, because this child is not in a position to like fight for themselves like the ones in Form 1.
That is wishful thinking, Kate. Do you know
they don't have an option?
Do you know when you take your child now to the normal school, okay, you need to do, but have you ever gone to the dormitories?
Yes. That is something parents need to do.
Yes. So what we need to do is we have to agree now with the schools, with the administrators, that can we come and check the schools. Okay, because it's always, even when I was growing up, I never saw people, we never let our parents into the schools, into the dormitories. It's something you're protecting. So you must come up open and clean. That the people we are stakeholders. And we're not coming to check so that we can downplay the school. We are coming to check for the safety of the same. Remember when schools were getting burnt quite often, and I pray that spirit does not trace again now, in just name. We go and we see the premises that have been done, because you were taught by the Ministry of Education then, they need to have doors that open from the outside. Yes, it is true, we can do the due diligence, but let us also be practical. Is it possible?
Okay, I'm thinking of the individual parents, because I want my child to go to a school that has better behavior.
Yeah.
Their way of doing things will suit and will serve my child's highest good, Yeah,
because we are not able to control the behavior of the other children, what we need to do is make sure that we equip this child of ours so well, so that they are able to set boundaries and mark those boundaries. Let's the psychology of children. Children, they love things, they copy each other, and they love fun, and they love madrama. So even as you try to protect them and cushion them, let us not hold so much to fear. That's why we brought the other prey. Let us not hold so much to fear. We are releasing them, but we are also covering the back as we protect them, so that again they can be able to go and fly. Because it is a school where we have 1700, and that's just a figurative number, but I know on average that's what you have in school. And then we have this one parent who want to come and see. This child will feel victimized. Like I know one of them told me, you know, madam, we were asked to take chicken, and my parents could not afford a chicken. And when they were cooking and eating the chicken, I sat down, they were looking at me like, well, and honestly, we could not afford. So we have to make sure, even as we talk about one, we are protecting our children from negative mob mentality from others. Mama yake alikuja kuona dormitory. Okay.
Yes. Wow, we have a lot, my dear viewer. We continue to listen from Catherine. She has a lot. She's teaching us a lot on how we can prepare about the CBC, doing that, pilot viewing of the schools where your CBC children are going to go. Make sure you're doing it right so that you don't push them to a place where they come and be victimized later on. And you also want to prepare them to know who they are, be responsible, so that when they go there, they will guard themselves, they will guard their belongings, and they'll be emotionally comfortable as they do the pioneer class of junior secondary school. So I wish we take a short break on this note, and we'll be right back. And make sure you're sending in your questions. When we come back, we'll answer them. Yeah.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back, my dear viewer. We continue preparing our children for the secondary school. Now, we've talked a lot on how parents can prepare their children psychologically for the junior class. And I know at this point, they're also going through bodily changes. And then now we have a major stressor here that we don't get to focus on their changes. Pushing them outside to go and pioneer a class where things have totally changed, because they're even going to science school, literature, they're all different. Not anymore. So even focusing on the body, what do we do, Catherine? Because there's a lot.
Remember what is happening now in the stage we call
yes, they're social beings. So at this point, they really don't know who they are, they don't know what's happening. And now
and that's why we said we prepare the parents. And I love that social. You have talked about social twice now. And when I hear of social being, I remember the internet, where our children now are already there, and they are doing a lot of CBC on the internet. Yesterday, the one the guardian, the one I'm guarding, came and told me have been told to Google for these two words. Parents, as we tell them to Google for these two words, they are Googling for Nakuru and Naivasha, the meaning of the same. We have to make sure that we are literally there finding out what could happen. Because social media also has a bad behavior where there are funny pop-ups. and children want to find out more. So you have to make sure that even as the children are finding out more, they are not exposed to evil. Before we went on break, you talked about the bad behavior. And I had said that this is going to be more of connection than correcting. So parents, as we prepare you to prepare the children, and remember I'm also a guardian, we must make sure now that we talk forthright and open it to them. There's a question I've been asking children wherever I go to speak, and even I asked a pastor the other day, and I asked them, Pastor Virginia, why are you a girl? And they look at me, what do you mean? So you have to be able to tell them to define themselves. Why am I a boy? Why am I a girl? Because remember, we said they are entering, the body is changing. They are entering adolescence. So this girl will understand, I am a girl, not just because I'm created a girl. I'm a girl because I have a private part of a female. Because that gives them identity. So that as they go in there, they're not going to find people that are saying, oh, my orientation is gay. They have to always remember that mom, and mom is the best teacher, mom told me I'm a boy because my private part is a male private part. We have to communicate. That's what I'm bringing now. And communication is the oxygen of every relationship. They normally tell us that communication is two ways. I want to say something today, that communication is not only two ways, it's a bridge that you have or you can build. So if you're not able to communicate, the next 3 months now, can we build this bridge? Can we look for an opening place where we can talk to our children about it? Viewer, now you're watching it. When we have the repeat later in the day, can you make sure that your child sits together with you? So we now lay a communication block on what we have. And we make sure that we sustain it all through. And adolescence comes with a lot of mood swings. But the good thing is, Kate, you have walked ahead of your children. You have had the swings. So as the swings are coming, the children are swinging, do not swing with them. Be the one that is going to be firm, calm, and in control. So even as we talk about the transition, we have to be firm, calm, and in control. And remember the analogy I gave of a torch. We are only able to see here, but we are safe. That we can able to progress on. So parents, these 3 months, October, November, December, even as we focus more on them passing the exams, and remember this is competent based. They may not have marks, they have what they normally say below expectations, average, you have met your expectations. We have now to make sure that we don't do what the education our education of it educates more of the mind. We cram figures, but now we must make sure that we educate not only the body, because the school is educating the mind. Now we have to educate not only the body, we have to educate the heart. And as a Christian, when I read the word of God, it tells us to guard our heart so well. Kate, when you look at the heart, if we remove the word, the letter T, we have here. You've seen it? If we remove H and T, we have ear. So that whatever we are educating our children, we let it trickle down into the heart. And parent, you are an educator. Be contented with the legs that you have shaken all through. This is a time to invest in these children, because if we don't invest in these children, somebody else is going to invest and take them away. And that somebody else is the social media. And all children see anybody that is able to hear, anybody that is able to feel, they have imagination. So we have to take our children on a journey of imagination. Imagine you're in that school, and remember now we have connected more than connecting. The 4 is explore with them so that they're not going to become amnesia prey. And then because now we are connected, these 3 months we ground ourselves. 3 months is not short, but it's also very short. We can now divide the 3 months into basically hours, weeks, so that we can have activities together where we can create a working environment. Yes, kids.
Wow, I love what you said. So we've gone through all what these children are going through, just that, you know, schedules are changing, like the junior secondary school. But we've been there before. We've been there before. As they swim, we don't swim along. And then we take control of the situations.
Yes.
And I really love that because regarding the social bit of life and the bodily changes that come along, can be in a position to, you know, guide them and allow them to be children who cannot be preyed upon.
You know, I don't know why we shy away from talking about the obvious. The other day in a show like this, somebody laughed, my host, because I said, you know, all of us are born out of sex. And they're like, oh yeah, it is hilarious. And I said that is true. There's nobody amesaliwa ati kwa hewa, ati imekuja tu wa. So you have to tell them. And you know, the children, they know it all, but parents, we are shying away. Yes, you might not tell them the styles and the designs, but even the Word of God talks about sex. Like now the quick scripture that comes into my mind when we have body change is Song of Psalm 8:8. That says we have a young sister and her breasts are still not grown. What shall we do for her when a man comes talking to her? We start from there and build. And parents, life is not very complicated, we make it complicated. If we can be watching this show now with your Bible here and the scriptures I'm quoting, and we know the Bible that is appropriate for any age, and now we are targeting the preteens and the teenagers. Like the same Bible, good news, Proverbs 31 verse 3 will say, do not spend all your energy on sex. We tell these children, rule. We'll tell them about homosexuality. It is unnatural. It has always been unnatural. Then also we bring in the transgender, where they come and they say, I am Sue, but I'm feeling like I'm John. Then we remember what he said, your private part gives you identity. You are a he because you have a male organ. We give them 3 things. Information, we give them facts, and we give them warnings. And we are not only going to say it once. Remember the torch, inakumulikia, unamulika tena, na unamulika tena.
Wow.
Yes.
I love that you said we have to give them information,
facts, and warnings.
Wow. So this is a time you talked of clear communication, and that's it. You give them warnings, you give them information that you have these your private parties. Female. It's a question. Give them identity and you know, tell them the truth that if this and this happens, well,
parents, when your child comes from school this evening, ask them, John, why are you a boy? Get the answer. Now tell them you are a boy because your private part is a he. Then we ground them there.
Sasa si aende tena aseme my heart feels like a girl.
Feelings are not a fact.
You know, Catherine, I was watching cartoon with my sons the other day, and I realized these ideologies, you know, are even in cartoons.
And you know why they're in cartoons? Because when you catch a child from that level, when you catch them from that level, you have hooked them. That's why I'm keeping telling the parent, you are the teacher. Now you watch that cartoon, but I thank God because the other day they said I don't remember who said that any video, any show that has the lesbian gay thing is getting banned out of Kenya. But again, now remember the imagination. What we see plays back over. So you have to make sure you tell them again and again and again that it is all wrong and it will never be right. Yes.
So whatever you teach a child, it will remain with them for life.
Remember you said train and teach?
Yes. Wow, you've given us power today as parents, because we get to be in control, and with our touch we look at one step, we step on that one, we move to the next one, and I think this whole preparation will be, one step at a time. As long as we are communicating, we make a bridge, we are connected. I love this. Well, time is coming on end, but I know Catherine huwezi tuacha tu hivyo. I know you want to talk to the parent and you want to talk to the child.
Parents, let me talk to you together with the children, and I will talk from a quote. They normally tell me I have a lot of tongue twisters. That to be informed is to be transformed. To be uninformed is to be deformed.
Wow.
To be informed is to be transformed. To be informed is to be transformed. To be uninformed is to be deformed. Wow. So these last 3 months of the year, we have to make sure that we are giving a lot of transformation to our children. We are informing them so that they are not going to go out there naive. Naive, you find yourself now behaving with the feelings. Feelings will come, but feelings will go. But consequences will face you.
Now, Catherine, in giving this information to transform, it's not just information, it's also what we do. I know back behind there you've said that wazazi, you've broken a leg for so many times.
You have gone to shake the leg.
To shake the they've shaken the legs one too many times. You've done things that maybe were not good for for their children. But now, even in informing them, because a lot of children actually all children do learn from the observation.
They copy,
Not just what we are teaching them, sitting down and having conversation. I need you to do this. This is the right way to do. But they learn from observing. So even as parents, they need to be at the top notch and the best of their behavior, so that these children can learn from the best. Like you said, mothers and parents, they are the first teachers.
So as they become the first teachers, what we need to do these 3 months, where we are, we must make a very conducive environment. A very conducive environment for our children to open, to feel comfortable with us, so that we can be able to connect as we harmonize all through. Then also parents, remember I said, let us not confuse that the transition and imagine that we're going to prevent our girls from getting pregnant. These 3 months is where you're going to give them all the information as it is. As Kate has said, go and check the figures now. 700 girls getting pregnant every day, HIV and AIDS, 98 children every week. Because most of these parents are positive, and children are also very active. Yes. Kinagaubaga. Is that the word?
And I love that, because we have to be the role models. Because either way, if we don't do it, like you said, somebody else will come and invest.
Has done it already. So parents, what we need to do is sacrifice for our children. Because if we don't sacrifice for our children, we are sacrificing our children.
Do you know that?
I'm a servant of God on assignment for God. These downloads, they come.
If we do not sacrifice for our children, we are sacrificing
our children.
Wow, I love that.
Thank you.
Please give your final bit that you want the child to receive from you.
Let me sum it up with Kiswahili. The Bible says, mtu aikosaye njia ya busara atakaa katika mkutano yao waliokufa. So children, Parents do not just correct you because they hate you. Parents, we correct you because we love you and we want to save you from death. Yes.
Wow, thank you.
Good.
We've been honored to have you today, Catherine. You're always full of wisdom. And I know that even as we prepare for the junior secondary school class now, parents are armed with all the information they need. They know they need to connect with their children. They need to, step one step at a time. They need to, bridge that gap that has been there so that they can connect, they can correct, they can be calm, they can give information, and not just information, a sense around here for the sake of this child who is going to a whole new setting that could be very stressful. But because we don't want to have a transition that is very stressful, parents, you have to step in and do your part. Catherine has said, if you do not sacrifice for your child, you're sacrificing that child. And I know you love them, so you cannot afford to sacrifice your child. So it's been beautiful, it's been awesome. I've learned a lot myself. I know you have too, and you're empowered for the sake of your child. Even for those ones who are younger and still going through CBC, and even those in high school, today's information was wholesome, so that we make a full circle and move forward, being better and creating a better society for tomorrow. So thank you very much for being with us. Make sure you continue to talk with us on our SMS line 21144 and in all our social media handles at GBS TV Africa. So I wish to leave you here until next time. Bye.